Good evening, and thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you that are viewing this on TSSR Sports YouTube also. Before we get started, a couple things. The format tonight I know is not a popular one with some people. However, I feel it's important, we feel it's important that we celebrate everyone together. These kids have worked very hard, and when the coaches are going to talk with their parents, it's going to be just talking to the same people that they've talked to all season and beyond. We also have a few families where we would have to split them up because we have a brother or sister, brother, sister involved in different activities. So I don't believe a couple hours. I know you've spent a lot of time in bleachers and on lawn chairs throughout the season as well, but a couple more hours I think is these kids deserve it. Some thank yous real quick before we get started. Thank you to Dwayne with TSSR Sports YouTube Live, broadcast several different activities this weekend. This past Saturday, there were over 4,200 views, and at one time, 1,400 people watching one of our games. So thank you to Dwayne. Thank you to Justice King and the Bomber Sports Net for broadcasting as well. They're right over there, Coach. For all his work too. Also, Andrea Ratterman. Andrea started taking pictures of different events and just got to about every sport that we had this fall. She shared them with some coaches. If the coaches don't have any of Andrea's photos, just see me. I've got them in a file so you can distribute them to your teams and parents as well. Thank you to the Bomber Booster Club for the awards that they pay for and the other things that they do throughout the year with all of our athletics. Thank you to parents, siblings, extended family that have sat through numerous games, meets, races throughout the year and encouraged and we're there for everyone. Thank you to Mary Beth. She's out this week, so it's been a little hectic, but Dorothy has stepped up in her place and helped out with getting everything organized for this evening. And then lastly, student athletes, please stand up, all of you. If you're a student athlete, stand up. Folks, we're a school of about 585 kids right now, and we have probably 290 student athletes. That's on top of being involved in music, in theater, in Scholastic Bowl, different clubs. These kids, one thing that we was not a concern this fall was academic eligibility. These student athletes did a great job of balancing schoolwork, community service, athletics, and being a teenager. So again, thank you, student athletes. So we'll get started right now. The coaches will speak for about 7 or 8 minutes about their team, distribute their pens, letters, numerals, and then the special awards. 2 of our sports that just finished up just voted on their awards, so the plaques will be coming. They'll announce those winners this evening, but the plaques are not here yet. So first of all, Coach Pittman and girls swimming, come on up.
So this is your Lady Bombers swim team. Congratulations, girls. We were assisted this season by former Bomber swimmer Mark Musser. Please step forward. We had a great season overall. Our win-loss record for dual meets, we were 6-3. For invites, we placed anywhere between 3rd and 9th. We placed 9th out of 17 at our recent sectional meet, so felt like that was a pretty good showing. These ladies had an incredibly high GPA for first quarter. We didn't have a single student that we had to deal with regarding academic eligibility. And if you know anything about swimming, after you swim 2 hours every day, you're pretty exhausted. And it's a testament to their commitment that they went home every night and did their homework. So that's huge. Good job, girls. We also ran a summer swim program, and the vast majority of these ladies volunteered their time to teach 6, 7, 8 to 12-year-olds how to swim, the values of competitive swimming, what we're aiming for, what we're trying for, and what our culture aims to be for bomber swimming. So when they commit multiple hours all summer long to give back to the community, that's something I couldn't be prouder of. We had one freshman. Carson, step forward. Smile. Where's Carson? All right, we had lots of sophomores. Hopefully they never graduate, because that's going to be a tough hole to fill. Sophomores, step forward. There we go. Our junior class is a little bit lighter, but still significant contributors, so juniors, step forward. And sadly, we are graduating 8 seniors, so they each are expected to replace themselves by recruiting for next year. So seniors, step forward. We have 4 awards to give out: a High Point Award, a Bomber Award, a Most Improved Award, and a Most Valuable Swimmer Award. Our Bomber Award this year goes to our 2 senior team captains who led this team better than any girls' team I've ever coached. In 23 years, this was the most fun, most enjoyable season I've ever had. These girls were incredibly committed. They showed up every day, and our captains help establish a culture and an environment where hard work is just a basic and fundamental expectation. We couldn't have done it without Annalise Gach and Lily Lambert. We have those awards. Next time, step in front so they step forward. Our Most Improved Award goes to a sophomore who came out for swimming last year, worked really hard, and then came back during boys' season and continued to train. Also trained all summer, got stronger, gained in endurance and mental fortitude, and over the course of the season, cumulatively dropped 3 minutes and 47 seconds in all of her events. So Kat Gravitt, you are our Most Improved Swimmer. Our High Point Award, and this won't be any surprise to the girls up here, goes to Libby Hamer, no questions asked. On average, Hamer scored 13 points per meet, rounding out the season with 146.5 points. Probably the highest total I've seen in my years of high school coaching. So 13 points a meet. And our MVP for the season is a quiet leader, but is somebody who works so hard and tries her very utmost each and every day that she often cries while she swims because it hurts so much, but she just keeps going and never gives up. She's always there, always ready. Coach, what can I do to help? Looks for her teammates, knows what's going on, helps out everyone, picks up after practice, cheers for every single swimmer. They all do, but this person has a very pervasive clap that we can all hear, and is just a positive, uplifting presence that really rounds out our girls' team. So our most improved swimmer for this year is our most valuable swimmer for this year is Corda Adkins-Covert. Just go shake her hand. That's it. Yeah, because wait until the end. Because they couldn't decide until sectionals. Yeah, both. Okay. And that wraps up what I have to say. Thank you very much. I'll just take it down there. Yeah. All right, ladies, head on down. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Next, we have the boys and girls cross country teams and Coach Randy Ames.
Hello. We graduated a lot of people last year. We only had 3 girls returning from last year's team. And from the boys varsity team, we had 4 guys returning. But we got a lot of freshmen, junior and a senior boy who had never run cross country before, who were kind of good surprises for us. And, you know, I knew we had some freshman girls coming in too, and we'd have a full team. And then, in the middle of the spring, one of my top 2 runners on the girls' team had a major knee injury and had surgery in June, so she was out for the year. And then, first week of July, I got a picture in a message from the other girl who was one of my top 2 coming back with a cast on her leg, and she was going to miss most of the season. So we weren't starting out great, but last year the guys, for the first time in about 10 or 15 years, didn't qualify for the sectional, so our goal was to do that this year. And we don't really do dual meets anymore. In cross country, most of the meets we do are at least 4 or 5 teams, and we run in a couple of invites that have 40 or 50 teams. We were fairly competitive, but we had, we had a very young team, and my main goal each year is to improve from year to year, and from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, and we did that quite a bit, especially with a lot of the new runners. We probably averaged 3 or 4 minute improvement for 3 miles for just about everybody on the team. I'm going to start with, we did, by the way, the girls qualified for the sectional with a little help from 3 girls, so we could field a full team at the regional. and the guys, they finished 5th at the regional and qualified for the sectional and got to run this year rather than just having 2 individuals run. We're going to start with our letters, starting with JV. Since we only had 5 girls, they all got varsity letters, but for the JV, the boys, Jake Anderson, he was a freshman. He improved 3 minutes and 40 seconds over the season and ended up running 22:52. If you can come up and get your letter, or I've got a season summary of all our meets. Come and get that, and if you're getting a letter, it's in with it. Tucker Baldy, he's a sophomore. He had a lot of conflicts and some injury, but he improved 2:45 and ended up running 27:44 for his best time this year. Cullen Clow, another sophomore. He grew several inches and 15 or 20 pounds in between his physical in June and the beginning of cross country. And this brought on a lot of leg injuries. I think he ran 3 or 4 races this year, but he did end up with a 29:57 PR for the season. Another freshman, Ryder Helling, he started out the year running 27:30 and ended up running 22:57. Sophomore, who was new to the team this year, he hadn't really run distance before. At our first meet, they only ran 2 miles for the JV race, and he ran 27 minutes for that race for 2 miles. And by the end of the year, he was running 3 miles in 25:10. So he basically improved 9 or 10 minutes throughout the season for 3 miles. Cal. Okay. For varsity girls, I'm going to go in the order that they finished at the end of the season. Jasmine Alcantara, a junior. She was the one who sent me that message about her leg. She ended up starting competing on October 1st, and we start at the 3rd or 4th week of August, so she was a month and a half behind everybody else. And she got a rude awakening at her first meet. I mean, when she broke her leg, she could have jogged 23 or 24 minutes, and she ran 26:09 at her first race. And she worked very hard over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And by the end of the season at the sectional, she ran a really good time there, but the meet before that, she ran a 22:50. One of our 3 seniors this year on both teams, Kristen Redmond, she started her high school career running over 30 minutes for 3 miles, and this year she ran a 22:58, and she was our leader most of the season until Jasmine came back and got in better shape. And our 3 freshmen, Cora Waters Trojanair. She started out running 31:30, ended up with a 24:44 this year. Addison Clow, She started out at about 33 and a half minutes and ended up with a 26-17. And Jackie Rouse. She started out at around 35 at our first meet, and it was kind of hot there. But and she even had a 36 later in the season, but she just kept improving and kept improving. And by the end of the season, she did run a 30-13, and I think at the sectional, if she hadn't gotten a cramp, she would have easily been in the 29s, but it slowed her down probably 40 seconds, and she ran like a 30-19 there. Okay, for the boys, our number one runner most of the year, he had a freshman teammate who pushed him the whole season. They pushed each other, made each other better. But he was our number one most of the season, even though I think Jack got him at the sectional. He put in a lot of miles since last year and got a lot of the guys, a couple of his teammates, to put it in more miles, and they all improved quite a bit. Last year, he did come back from injury and qualify for the sectional. This year, he led his team to the sectional, and he ended up with a 17:34 PR this year. It's Matthew Sadler. And our number two most of the year. I will add that these 7 guys, well, I do have 8 because we have a senior, but the top 7, they were the top 7 all year long. We didn't have anybody break into that, even though I thought we had some young guys who might challenge them, but they held their positions. Jack showed a lot of improvement. Last year he qualified for state in junior high at 2 miles, but he kept improving, and he actually ran a faster pace towards the end of the season this year for 3 miles than he did last year for 2. He ended up running a 17:36 right behind Matthew's PR, and that's Jack Dunseth. Our next guy was number 3 most of the year, sometimes number 4, but he started last year running about 22:45, and he ended up running 18:31 at the end of this year. He started this year at about 20 flat, and he was one of those who put in a lot of miles with Matthew. I think 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the season, on our long run, they went for 12. And he really showed a ton of improvement and has grown as a distance runner. And if he keeps working at it, he's going to be very good in the next 2 years. And that's Kyler Glau. Okay, junior, he would be the one who would beat Kyler every now and then. Isaiah Redmond, just something about halfway through the season clicked in him, and he just started running tremendously better. He'd been in the 19s and 20s most of the first half of the season, and he ended up running in the mid-18s. And if he continues to work, he's going to help us a lot next year too. Isaiah Redmond. Didn't come. Okay. Number 5 at the end of the year, he had never run cross country before, although I know he'd done a lot of running like we do when he was a wrestler. but he came into the season running, I think, 22s, and then ended up running a 1932. He really wanted to break 19 this year, but never did, and that's Zach Green. Jacob Pettigrew, another first-year cross-country runner. He's run track the last couple of years, but they finally talked him into coming out this year, and he did it. He did a great job. He was in the top 7 all year long and ended up running a 20:27, and I look for him to run a lot quicker next year too after a year's experience. Blake here? Yeah, Blake Overstreet was our number 7 at the end of the year, and he was number 6 or 7 most of the season. He ended up running a 20:15. And our other senior is Gabe Ramos. He's been on the team all 4 years in high school. I think he even ran in junior high. He had a body change between last year and this year, and he had a lot of injuries too. But he's been out for 4 years, and he deserves a varsity letter. And that's Gabe Ramos. Okay. Our special awards, we give out 3, Most Improved, Most Valuable, and the Michael L. Sartori Award for the Most Promising Freshman. And criteria for that is a good student athlete and somebody who works hard and somebody who is a very good teammate. And we had several freshmen on the team, but this one really stood out, and he was our number 2 or 1 guy, and that was Jack Dunseth. Most improved for the guys. This was a person, he ran our number 3 position most of the season. He's made a lot of improvement after 1 year. And he's just done a great job, and he's going to continue to improve, and that's Kyler Glau. And most improved for the girls, she started her career 3.5 years ago running in the 30s, and this year, when our top 2 girls got hurt, she led the younger girls the whole season, and she ended up running a 22:52, and that's Kristen Redmond. Most valuable for the boys. We actually had 2 guys who were at the top the whole season long. They pushed each other. Like I said, one would run a great race, and that would prompt the other one to run a great race and try and beat him the next meet. But they were great teammates. They ran a lot of miles together. And for that reason, they're both most valuable this year, Matthew Sadler and Jack Dunseth. And for the girls, we had a couple of girls who were supposed to be our 1-2, and they got hurt, and we had a senior who stepped up. She was a good leader for the 3 freshmen, and she just did a great job, and she ran times that 3.5 years ago she would have been very proud of. But once Jasmine came back, it made her better to have Kristen there too. But after she was back, she was a good leader, and she kept coming to practice even when she couldn't run, and helped lead these girls too. So our most valuable are Kristen Redmond and Jasmine Alcantara. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Ames. Next up, we'll have Coach Wilson. Girls tennis, we had a doubles team that qualified for the state tournament this year. So Coach Wilson and the girls tennis team.
Our season record this year overall was 8-3. These girls have wins that include Galesburg on the season. They also beat Quincy Notre Dame at the end of the season. They beat Jacksonville and also East Moline during the course of our regular season play. One of our invites that kind of surprised all of us, I believe, was the invite at Galesburg, a large team invite, where we came away with first place this year out of all the schools that attended. So girls had a lot of signature wins. And looking at kind of the postseason as we got toward the end of the season, we had a doubles team that went down to sectional. And the week before sectional, they beat Quincy Notre Dame's #1 doubles, and they beat Quincy High's #1 doubles. Quincy High, go ahead, yeah. We lost to Quincy High, but their win at the #1 doubles bounced Quincy High's #1 doubles team out of a seed for sectionals, so we'll count that as a win, right? Let's go ahead and have Tolly step forward for us, please. Tolly, go ahead. We're going to get into our special awards here. So most valuable, Tolly, go ahead and stay up there. I see what you're doing. Tolly's going to be our most valuable player this year for our special awards. Yeah, here we go. I'll let you do it. I'm going to keep rolling here. And a couple quick words on Tolly. Here's our lone senior for the year. Tolly broke her arm over the summer. Was looking like she wouldn't be able to get much tennis in, but decided she was going to go ahead and play tennis left-handed all summer. And got good enough left-handed in 2 months to battle her way up to the #3 spot on varsity left-handed. So, kind of tells you. We're going to miss her leadership, and we're going to miss everything that she puts into the team and all of her determination and hard work next year. Thank you, Tolly. Yep. Our next award is going to go to Kylie Jakes. Kylie, step forward for us, please. And Kylie, of course, is the other part of the doubles team that qualified for the state finals with Tolly. Kylie is going to receive the Miss Hustle Award. And Kylie and Tolly are kind of the yin and yang that work together for doubles, two very different personalities, but it works out on the doubles court, and they do a good job of keeping each other balanced. Both of you step forward for just a second, and a quick round of applause here for our state final qualifiers. Okay, just to kind of wrap things up here, really appreciated the season, ladies. We had, Selena here. Yeah. Okay. Selena, I'm sorry. Selena, step forward for just a second. I didn't see you there behind. Selena is going to be our third award winner, and this is going to be to the most improved this year. I'll tell you just a little bit about Selena. With Tolly going down with the broken arm, we had our entire challenge ladder kind of up in the air. Selena came out on top and won the #1 spot for the first, what was it, Selena, 3 or 4 weeks of the season? And she went from, I think, #4 or 5 last year on the team up to the #1 spot for a good chunk of the season this year. and led us to our first, I think, 3 or 4 victories of the season. So Selena, great job. Appreciate it. And this is your 2022 girls tennis team. Great job, ladies.
Thank you. Next, we have their conference champion and regional champion girls golf team with Coach Sullivan.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. I want to give a big thanks to Haley Hadsel, my assistant coach this year. It's really nice having someone that can actually play golf on staff, so it was great to have her along. Big thanks to Danny Torrance and everybody at Gold Hills, Coach Horrell, Mary Beth, all our parents and supporters. Thanks for everybody helping out this year. We had a really good year on and off the course this season. We had a hardworking group that kept a good attitude for the most part all season long. They're not a sentimental group, which kind of bothers me, but because I really am, but we'll let that slide. We had a great group of 3 seniors, Trinity Christensen, Ainsley Holthouse, and Kendall Ost. I think they learned a lot from us coaches, and I learned some things from them as well, like Kendall can make up her own lingo for golf equipment, or how she can relearn for the first time how to line up her putts every practice. Trinity taught me how there was a new level of hatred for early mornings that I never knew existed. And, or how if Ainsley says she needs water after 3 holes, she means after exactly 3 holes. Not after 1, not after 2, not after 4, not after 10 minutes. She needs water after 3 holes. Our overall meet record was 18-5. Our biggest team accomplishment was winning the regional by 3 shots. And that was a tough one because for 5 hours and 45 minutes we were not leading the tournament. But about the time Taryn birdied the 18th hole, I think we took the lead. And I think Rockridge is trying to figure out still how they didn't win that one. But it was the 5th regional title for girls golf over the last 6 years. So that's a huge accomplishment for everybody up here and a lot of our former players. Our second best team accomplishment was winning the Champaign Central Invitational on the 2nd day of the season. We were the smallest school there and had the longest drive to get there, but we had 2 players shoot 85 or better and 3 others in the 90s. We beat Morton by 2 shots. We didn't know it at the time, but Morton would go on to finish 7th at the state finals later that year. So that was a great win for us. We also won our conference tournament by over 100 strokes, and all 5 players on our team made the all-conference team. So that was another huge accomplishment for us. I'm just going to recognize the players we have here just real quick. We had 2 freshmen on the team, Brinley Tibbetts and Sophie Wilson. Brinley had a low of 52, and this was not the plan. This was not the plan, but she started opening day on the varsity team, went out there and did a great job playing. So we loved having Brinley, and she did a fantastic job her first year. Sophie split time with the volleyball team, and I know you all think how great Coach Rexroth is, but you have no idea how good she is because she helped 2 teams win this season. So thank you, Coach Rexroth, for working with us on that one. So Brinley and Sophie. We had, Sophie, by the way, had the 4th best score of any freshman at the sectional tournament this year, so that was pretty impressive. We had 2 juniors, Taryn Ritchie and Josie Calvert. Josie is here today. They were both all-conference players. Josie, I'll just recognize her. She had her career low round at the regional to help us win that tournament. She was also all-conference. She had a low round of 96 for 18 and a low round of 47 for 9 holes. So Josie, everybody. I will. She's not here because she's on a college visit in Texas. But Trinity Christensen was our low average player for the season, and that is one of our special awards. She averaged. Let me see if I can find it here. 43.1 for 9 holes. So Trinity Christensen was our low stroke average for the season. She was also the individual conference champion. She had a low round of 39 for 9 and a low round of 84 for 18. So Trinity's not here. She, like I said, she's visiting a college in Texas, but she was our low stroke average for the year. Want to recognize Kendall Ost. Step forward, Kendall, just real quick. There she is. Thank you. She had a low round of 43 and 87. That 87 came in the regional, so to help us win that one. She was 5th place at the regional, earned a medal on that one. 4th place in the conference and 8th place at the Galesburg Invitational. Kendall, everybody. Okay, and then Ainsley, if you want to step forward real quick. So Ainsley, one of our seniors, she had a low round of 39 for 9 and 81 for 18. She was a medalist twice. She was all conference. She had 6 top 10 finishes. She was 2nd place in the conference. Last year was her first year playing golf. She started out with 119 on her first round, and after the round, she kept saying, "I can't believe I played that bad." And I'm thinking, you've never played golf before, so let's give this some time. Ended up shooting an 88 by the end of the season, and ended up being just a great player for us. I'm sorry that she only played 2 years, but we were really thankful to have her. So our most improved player for 2022 girls golf is Ainsley Holthouse. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Next up, also conference and regional champions, boys golf team, and Coach Duncan.
All right, good evening, everyone. I just want to say, first of all, that it is a pleasure to be up here tonight and celebrating all these student-athlete successes. Macomb's had a bunch of success, and congratulations to my fellow coaches on all their successes they've had this year. I'd also like to thank several people for their support of Bomber Golf. First and foremost, parents and grandparents. For those of you who don't know, golf is not a cheap sport. Takes up lots of time, lots of travel between long tournaments and stuff like that. So parents and grandparents, thank you for supporting your children. I also like to thank Macomb Country Club and Gary Sutton for giving us the opportunity to play out there all summer long. It definitely is a home course advantage for us to be out there. To my assistant coaches, John Michael Nixa, who was late getting out of work tonight, and Richard Sample, who is now helps off and on and living in Springfield. I thank you guys. I also want to thank one other special person who helps Mr. Horrell and I host our own invitational and regionals, Jim Miner. I think he might be here tonight. So thank you guys all for everything. The boys golf team here had a very successful year. We had some fine individual performances. The season started off on a positive note with a first place tie and getting third on a 5th place score at the Peoria Notre Dame Invitational. We finished 3rd place in the Raider Redbird Classic. We finished 2nd in our own Gary Saunders Invitational and 3rd in the Monmouth Invitational. Like Mr. Horrell said earlier, this team completed back-to-back Prairie Land Conference Championship by winning the team tournament this year by 36 strokes. we had 5 all-conference performers, including the individual conference champion, Connor Watson. Hunter Wilson, Justice Keene, Elliot Parkins, and Toby Kale were all also all-conference by virtue of their top 10 finishes. The team even completed a bigger back-to-back later on in early October by winning our Class 2A regional by defeating Peoria Notre Dame and Washington by 11 strokes. And when I thank Mr. Miner for helping host and Mr. Horrell for helping host, that's one of the reasons why we were successful in that tournament. We got to play on our home course, which our boys play all summer, and that is a huge, huge advantage for us when these schools from Peoria area come over here to play. Connor Watson was the individual Class 2A regional champion when he shot a 2 under 69. Hunter Wilson finished 6th in the regional, and Justice Keene finished 10th in the regional tournament. The Bomber golf season came to an end with an 8th place finish at the 2A sectional at Coyote Creek in Bartonville. That sectional was loaded. It had Sacred Heart Griffin and Quincy Notre Dame. He advanced out of there and eventually finished in the top 8 at state. So these individuals earning letters and numerals this year for their performances: Brady Baker, who is not here today, Toby Kale, Tice Christensen, Ethan Dildine, and Nick Parkins all earned either their pens or their varsity or JV letters and numerals. Team members who earned their varsity awards were Justice Keene, Elliot Parkins, Brady Scalf, Drew Taylor, Connor Watson, and Hunter Wilson. Congratulations, guys. The Bomber Golf Program gives out 3 special individual awards each season: Most Promising Freshman, Most Improved, and the Most Valuable Player. This year, the Most Promising Freshman Award goes to 2 people who have made the most impact on our golf program this year and who we expect to be stay awards for the next 3 years. This year's co-winners are Toby Kale and Drew Taylor. Toby shot his Bomber golf career low with an 84 in the Saunders Invitational. He was also named Prairieland All-Conference with his top 10 finish in the conference tournament. Drew shot a Bomber golf low 88 at the Peoria Notre Dame Invitational and the Metamora Redbird Classic. These 2 golfers will be key parts of our continued success, along with our other freshmen and sophomores and juniors as their golf game evolves. The next award goes to the Most Improved Player. This year, the award goes to Justice Keene. Justice improved his scoring average from his sophomore year by 3.23 strokes in 9-hole matches and improved his scoring average by 4.23 strokes in 18-hole matches over the previous year. He was a top 10 in 3 events this year, was all-conference, and shot his Bomber golf career low of 76 in the Peoria Notre Dame Invitational. We are looking forward to Justice's senior season and what he can continue to build upon. Congratulations, Justice. And finally, the final award for the 2022 season is the Golf MVP. This year, the winner goes to senior Connor Watson. Connor averaged 76.46 in 18-hole events and 37.40 in 9-hole events. He shot under par 2 times this year with a -171 at Peoria Notre Dame, and then the aforementioned -269 to be a regional championship, regional medalist. Connor had 10 top 10 finishes in our invitational portion of our season this year, which is basically our whole season for the most part now is all invitationals and 10 to 15 teams in each event. So that was quite a feat to finish in the top 10 times. Connor was also one of 6 players named to the Peoria Journal-Star all-area team a couple weeks ago. The article was in the paper, and I'm proud of his accomplishments for being one of the top 6 players in that whole entire area. So congratulations for that, and the MVP, Connor Watson. In closing, I just want to thank you guys for a fun, enjoyable season. We work hard, and it shows, and we hopefully continued success from our program from here on out. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Justice could not be with us tonight. He stayed up too late last night getting his picture taken with politicians. Next up, we have Coach Chris Meyer and the boys' varsity and junior varsity soccer team.
I'm going to first thank off all of the parents, grandparents, the field maintenance crew, Steve Horrell, Mary Beth, and my 2 coaches, Josh Bryan and Tim Williams. We had a really young crew for a while, and this was the fruition of our seniors that had been growing up through the program through the pre-COVID, going through the COVID and the madness of playing in spring, and to the end where we had a final season where we were able to come together, all of this. This year we had a 7-10-1 record, but the biggest improvement was we had 26 goals to the positive from last year, which is a huge improvement from there. We also had 4 games where we had 7 or more goals against teams, and we even held, we lost to the state championships 1-4, and the closest team that played them in the playoffs was a 1-4 score, and everybody else was being blown out 8-0 by the state champions, and we were able to hold them 1-4 at our home time. One thing about me is I love telling stories. I'm just going to do a really quick one right here. Is just the whole idea and the concept of the one way to get the most out of life is to look upon it as an adventure. I just want everyone to just have the idea that everyone here has made the positive impact in each other. There's such a great team, such camaraderie that came among them, from singing on the buses to creating each other, have nicknames, pushing each other. There was ups and downs, but again, through all the hard times, everybody stayed incredibly positive throughout the entire season. And through that adventure, even though there are those down times, that they always looked up and looked to the future and always put in the hard work. And I know that they're going to put in the hard work in the future as well. As of right now, we are going to go ahead and move on to the awards, and we're going to start off with the varsity awards. The most improved player is Jesse Asari. Step forward, Jesse. From last year to this year, Jesse has had a huge boost in his confidence level, his ability to dribble, pass, and his competency and defense. He has been an incredible quality sub at the varsity squad, especially with a strong senior midfield. And because of that, he has just went leaps and bounds, and it's going to be a great moving forward as just a sophomore in the midfield. Our Hustle Award is Ben Luckard. Ben has been one of the people that has played one of the most minutes on each game, and there's been some times where we even had to play 5 games a week, but he was one of those people that tirelessly would go ahead and work his best out there, and even whenever I would try to pull him to get a quick break, he's like, "Coach, I'm good, just give me a quick drink and then I'm back in." He had always been the one to hustle back on offense and defense. He has always been a person that everyone could rely upon, and with that, he always showed what other people could go ahead and do as well. Our most valuable teammate is Sherman Bernard. Sherman, from the summer all the way through the season, he has been one of those that had been the most encouraging player out there. He had always been anybody who was putting down, he would always try to find them and try to lift them up and put a smile on their face. He was always the one who wanted to do the extra sprints, even though he didn't have to. He was always the one that looked out for everyone, making sure if anyone needed an extra partner to pass to, no matter the skill level, he was always there and he looked out for everyone. Our most valuable defensive player is Brody Thorman. Brody has been working his best, and we knew that he was our fastest person on defense. Anytime that there were some really fast players, that he was the one to go ahead and mark them. He even got to the point where he had to sprint back and it passed our goalkeeper, and he sprinted back, kicked it out past the net to save us a goal from it. But anytime that we knew that we needed someone to put some hustle on defense, to lock someone down, someone that we knew that we could trust, we had Brody out there. Our most valuable offensive player and our most valuable player is Matt Bright. Matt was the first player in a long time that has played every single position in one season, even to the point where we had an injured goalkeeper and he wanted to sub in for the second half to go ahead and play keeper. He has been a little bit of everything for us. If I ever asked him, said we need to play defense this game, he was said, "I'll play sweeper," and instead of that offensive role. He had been our person who scored the most points this season, which means goals and assists combined, with a grand total of 28. And with that, again, we knew that if there was anyone that we needed to have push us for that goal or for an assist or something along those lines, Matt was always the one that we knew that we could trust. He had the intensity that he wanted to be the one to beat everyone and score those goals. And with that, he has been the player that we could trust the most. Moving on to JV, our most valuable player for JV is Henry Lauer. Henry has been one of those players that played both varsity and JV. He had been a defensive player in varsity, but whenever he went to JV, after playing most of a varsity game, he would play both midfield and defense, as trying to versatile his skills, being able to be a better passer, a better facilitator, and with that, he showed a lot of leadership and was able to help out the team really stay calm and controlled under any situation. Our most improved player for JV is Colin Adams. Colin came in as first year playing soccer. He had very little skill to start the season, but he always had the most enthusiasm and the most kind-heartedness that it didn't matter what happened, that he was just going to put in the work. He would go to WIU's fields after practice, and he would go ahead and practice himself. He put in all this work from being able to only pass the ball about 10 feet to kicking it 30 yards is a major improvement on just the skill and the dedication and the work that he put in. Our Hustle Award goes to Mason Royer. There's always been kind of a joke that goes in for soccer wherever Mason is one of the fastest people on the team, and we just can assume that if we just kick the ball and we just say, "Go, Mason," and then we just runs and just gets the ball and beats out any defender there is. He has always been a person that, even though he has the speed, he also has the stamina as well to go ahead and hustle back, and he had learned through JV to play a different role. Instead of just the run Mason, he was the one that could control the field, go up and down the pitch, and from there being able to see a different side, which has definitely improved his game. Our most valuable teammate is Kevin Volberg. From his freshman year, again, starting and doing, knowing nothing about soccer, he has been the one sport that he has chosen to do all 4 years with, and from there he has always been a positive influence for anyone around his team. He is very happy-go-lucky and willing to do anything we want. He's played from offense to defense to midfield. And anything that we ever ask him to do, he will do. And from there, he has also had that calm collectiveness, too, that if anybody was worried or didn't know what they were doing, he was the one to help them out. And our most valuable defensive player is Matt Gock. Matt Gock played keeper for us this year, and he was able to step up in a vital role whenever we need to call him on our varsity team. When we had some injuries, he was able to step up into that role, and he was that leader on the defense. He was shouting out, being able to do anything that we ever asked him for. We actually played a game with him sometimes where he would play as a keeper, and he would just stand there and just stare. And we would see how many seconds he would stand there and stare. And I think we got him at 50 seconds one time. Yeah. But if there are those times, he has always been the one that we know that we could rely upon. He was very vocal and always helping everyone out and just made some spectacular saves. Not here? Okay. Our most valuable offensive player is Jun Yoshimura. Jun isn't here today, but again, he is one of those that would find playmaking abilities. He was able to pass, he was able to shoot, he was able to find his teammates, and was able to move around and be successful in helping out not just him scoring, but also his teammates. Thank you again, and our 2022 soccer team.
Thank you, Coach. One of the things that we're working on is many of the teams that we play soccer against don't have lights, and we have lights. If you look up at the Orange Crush, our student section, many of our soccer players are there, and they deserve to have the Orange Crush at their game. So right now we're working with one of our closer opponents to put a soccer game in prime time so those kids can have the Orange Crush at their game as well, instead of playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're going to try to get that worked out for next fall. Next up, we have Coach Madison Bly and the Bomber Cheer Squad.
All right, so first off, I would just like to start by saying coming into a coaching role after being an alum for the same school and team is just a really exciting and full circle moment, and I have had an awesome squad to start that year off with. They've all come ready to work and learn with great attitudes, and we've adjusted really quickly to starting late in the season and to definitely having our fair share of ups and downs, starting with a very new squad who majority had never cheered before or did not cheer on the high school team previously. So it's been definitely a learning year. There's been a lot of growth, and I think there's going to be a lot more growth this season. And I'm very excited to see what the future has in store for our team through basketball season and then next year through both of our seasons as well. I'm going to start first off with our Most Dedicated Award. This athlete is always ready to go above and beyond and ready to learn and be at every practice and every event with an upbeat attitude, no matter what we are doing. She has learned a ton this year. So our Most Dedicated Award goes to Larissa Clark. All right, next up we have our Best Attitude Award. This athlete always shows up to practice or anywhere that we're at with a smile on her face. She is ready to cheer everyone on, ready to cheer football team on and anyone else on her team while we're learning new things or anything that we may be doing. She always keeps the morale high on our team, and Best Attitude goes to Sophia Brown. All right, finally we have our Most Improved. This athlete began the season never cheering before, and she has made every effort to listen to any advice from myself as well as her teammates and take every single bit of it and apply it immediately. She now is a huge asset to our team and can help give advice to our additional new cheerleaders who are beginning with us now for our basketball season. This award is going to go to Bailey Jackson. All right, and that is all I have.
Who dropped her two? Somebody dropped her two.
Did you get all the letters out, or do you need me to?
Yep, got it. Got it, thank you. Thank you. Bring the one thing that I wanted to point out to everyone here this evening. We talk a lot about once a bomber, always a bomber. Every team here this evening, with the exception of one, has at least one bomber on the coaching staff. So these people, men and women, are coming back and giving back to the program and the school. The one team that we do not have a bomber on the coaching staff would be our volleyball team, but we did steal a couple from Colchester and one from Lewiston. So now, Coach Rexroth and the girls' volleyball team.
I gotta move this down. Sorry. You don't have any books for me right now. I'm just kidding. Are we all out there yet? Not yet. We're coming. We are lining up, freshmen. We're gonna give a brief overview of our seasons, announce our girls. Are you guys in order? Yeah, by freshmen. Freshmen are first. And then we're gonna do our individual awards at a later date. We started a new tradition last year with our team awards, and we chose to continue with that. But we want to give a brief recap of our seasons and honor the girls. Our program as a whole finished with 73 wins and 15 losses. Our freshmen this season finished 13-9 on the season. 7 of their 9 losses came from JV tournaments. We won all of our home games and lost our only regular season games in a hard-fought 3-set battle against QND. We placed second at our freshman tournament in North Scott. The freshmen saw huge improvements this year. They did a great job of working together to speed up their offense by running quicks and playing some tough defense together. We are looking forward to what they will bring to our JV next season. So congratulations, freshmen, on a great season. Our JV, they finished 27-2 of the year, with their only 2 losses coming from a varsity teams in the gold bracket of our home tournament, Macomb Classic. They finished 4th out of a 16-team varsity tournament. Their goal for the season was to go undefeated against JV teams, and they were able to accomplish that with a 27-0 record against JV teams. The JV won the West Prairie JV tournament as well as the Minden Unity JV tournament. The JV show up every game with grit and determination. They don't care who they're going to play. They're just there to play and try to compete. When the JV were in junior high, they had not 1, but 2 state-run opportunities taken away from them due to COVID. They are more than ready to get their chance at a postseason run their varsity years, and I believe they're gonna get it. So congratulations, JV, on a great season. As many of you know, our varsity finished our season last week with a tough loss at the sectional championship yet again to QND. We finished the season 33-4 and tied the record for most wins in a single season this year, but overall the best record. We finished the regular season undefeated with a record of 15-0. Throughout the season, we have accomplished many of our team goals. We sat there in a circle one day at practice and came up with all these different goals, and I didn't know how many we'd meet, but ladies, you'd be surprised. This year alone, we finished with an impressive 979 kills, a hitting percentage, which is really good. We were aiming for 200, and we ended up finishing as a team with .234. Our serving percentage, at my surprise, was 90%. We had 216 aces. We earned 1,062 points. We had 74 team blocks, 1,179 team digs, and 948 assists. 794 of those assists belonged to Caitlin Robinson alone. One of the biggest moments for us this year was Kennedy Adair earning her 1,000th kill during our Q&D tournament. That has never been done. So far, which, by the way, you had 1,000 kills at Q&D, but she finished with 1,066 kills overall in her 4 years of varsity play. So far, we have 2 seniors continuing their volleyball careers. Allie Thorman is committed to play at Spoon River College, and Kennedy Adair is committed to play at WIU. We are both so excited they are close by so that we can continue to cheer them on from home. As a team, we won our home tournament, which is the first time that we've won our home tournament since I've been in the program for 11 years. So that was pretty exciting to finally get that tournament. We finished second the last couple years. We finished third at the Orion tournament, second at the Quincy Invite, and third at the Q&D tournament. We won our conference with a record of 6-0. Allie Thorman, Allison Stortzum, and Caitlin Robinson made the second team all-conference team. Sarah Stuffelbein and Kennedy Adair both made first team all-conference team. Congratulations, ladies. This team showed up to every practice and every game, focused, ready to learn, and ready to compete. Thank you to the parents for your support, food, and drinks, and help throughout the season. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And picking them up and taking them everywhere, from lifting weights to practices. So thank you, parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters. Thank you to the community for all of the love and support that was shown to our girls throughout the season. It was really fun this season and the postseason, throughout the whole year, and even during the summer, people coming up and asking how the team's looking, telling us congratulations, and the love that we received through our community was huge. Thank you to the students that showed up throughout the season and postseason to bring what I believe the best student section in the state. I genuinely thought the bleachers were going to break at Farmington, so my ears may have still been ringing for 2 days after that game too. The girls will forever remember the atmosphere in the pit that the student section brought. That's going to be one of their biggest memories, whether they lost or they won, but that pit game where the student section stormed the court will be one of their biggest memories. I know it will be. Finally, thank you, girls, for showing up every day, ready to work hard. The coaches and I, we appreciate all your dedication that you put in and your work ethic that you have shown throughout the season. You guys truly have been, I love coming to the gym after school, teaching 4th through 6th graders and then getting ready to come in here to have some intensity in the gym. You were really a great place for me to come to every day, and I really appreciate you putting up with me throughout the days, but also like coming in and working hard every single day. And we love you guys, and we are so proud of all your efforts. Right now, we just want to take a moment to announce the freshmen that played for us this year. So freshmen, when I say your name, just step forward. Freshmen that played for us this year and receiving their numerals are Brooklyn Mast, Sophie Wilson, Cadence, she's down here, Cadence, Nina Kale, Ella Hare, Emily Westerhold, Addison Mason, Jordan Shootman, Addison Fox, Jordan Hines, and Dakota Thorman. Thank you, ladies. JV players that are receiving their JV letter and their pin, step forward when I say your name, is Kylie Robinson, Kate Stortzum, Mirabelle Quinn Rexroth, Kelly Ladd, Drew Creasy, Sophie Wilson, Nika Daitner, Cadence Holtz, I always say it wrong, Holtz, Jackie Adair, Olivia Whitney, Ella Hare, Catherine McKiernan, Emily Westerhold, and Madeline McClure. Varsity players earning their varsity letter and pins: Sarah Stuffelbeam, Caitlin Robinson, Taylor Adair, Ellie Duncan, Catherine McKiernan, Quinn Rexroth, Jackie Adair, Kennedy Allensworth, Allison Stortzum, Madeline McClure, Kennedy Adair, Kinley Norton, Allie Thorman, Katie Benson, and Annika Clark. Thank you again for all your support. We're just going to do it alone.
Okay. All right. Somebody's got to get Kate.
Yeah.
We're up there. Thank you. Do we have any Edison students here? Any kids here go to Edison? How was PE last week? I guarantee you it was not fun between the tension with Coach Horrell and Coach Rexroth. Should be the most fun class of the day. Our final group tonight, conference champs and playoff qualifiers, Coach Horrell and the Macomb Bomber football team.
So I made a PowerPoint last year, and we're going to keep that tradition going. So I got a little PowerPoint with kind of some records and all conference and stuff like that. But before we get started, we want to thank Dwayne, Justice, Andrea for taking pictures, The Voice for covering us this year. I know we said on Saturday that there were 1,400 people watching our game at some point, so that's pretty awesome that people, wherever they are, can watch our games. I know I had buddies in Texas, Indiana, West Virginia that watched our games throughout the season, and I'm sure these guys had family members that were able to do the same thing. We also want to thank the parents. They organized so much for us this year. If you guys went to a business, you might have saw our schedule with our seniors on it. They had a hype video, signs, banners, team dinners, all kinds of things. Our parents were outstanding this year. The community support the last couple weeks was amazing. Going around, you kind of feel a little buzz about the football, volleyball teams postseason run there. And then also the student section and the cheerleaders decorating our locker room. And then the student section out there after the Q&D win was amazing. Hopefully we can keep that going for the next couple of years. These guys are a special group. They broke a lot of records this year. But the stuff off the field was pretty amazing too. We started a Band of Brothers program this spring. Kind of lacked a little bit during the season, but we're going to pick it up again in the off season. But they volunteered last spring. The volleyball and football players helped at Edison during one of our field days. They helped with flags of love. When you guys see the flags up at Chandler Park, they helped put those up and take those down, a few of them. Kids camp, we'll host a kids camp that they volunteered at. And then during the season on Saturdays, our JFL, we run our JFL program. So after the game on Fridays, Saturday mornings, these guys showed up to coach our 3rd through 6th graders and ref their games as well. So that's kind of helping build our program, hopefully for the future. So some of the team accomplishments. We're the first team since 1989 to go 9-0, and the first team to win 10 games in school history. We wish it would have been 11, but unfortunately just a few plays. Murfreesboro did a little bit better job than us, but we'll get there next year. First time hosting a playoff and winning a playoff game since 2012. It was great to have our student section have a huge crowd there for both playoff games. Like we said, the student section on the field, the music going after the game was an awesome atmosphere. One that these guys are going to cherish for the rest of their lives. Some team records. So this one I don't even think they're aware of, but the previous record for points in a season was 395. These guys put up 452 points, and half the time they were out by halftime. So that's pretty impressive. And then the 36.6 points per game in 2006. This year was 41.1. And then it wasn't a record, but our first team defense, I know our offense got a lot of credit because it's pretty fun to watch us throw the ball around and run it. But our defense was just as impressive, and they didn't get as much credit as they deserved. They allowed just 89 points, the first team, and just 4 offensive touchdowns in conference play. So with that, last thing being highlighted there, I know golf gets to perform and get all conference by their performance. Unfortunately, in football, it's not just performance-based. This one's going to make some of these guys angry because they're not even aware of it yet. Probably some parents, it makes me angry. My heart's still racing because I'm not real happy with it. But the all-conference team is voted on by the coaches. Some coaches probably hold some grudges, and so our guys kind of got hosed. So for the first team offense, again, we broke those records. We had 3 kids get first team offense. Ethan Ladd was unanimous. At center, Max Reiner. At running back, and JT Jeter. So great job for those 3. I feel like we deserved a little bit more than that. And then, as I said, we allowed just 4 touchdowns in 8 games. And we got 1 kid on defense. So congrats to Ethan on that, but it is what it is. Second team, Jack Duncan. You're going to see some numbers up here in a minute. There's no way he's a second team all-conference quarterback, but that's where he fell. Tackle, Hunter Kendrick, and wide receiver, Langdon Allen. Again, you'll see some numbers. No way, that's second team wide receiver. Defense, defensive tackle, James Meredith. DN, Max Reiner. Outside linebacker, safety, Carter Hogue. And 6 interceptions only get you second team, Jaden. Congrats. Jaden Jones. We also had some special mention all-conference guard Eli Starbuck on offense and tight end Carter Hogue. Defense, Ian Case at D end, Lindsey May at inside linebacker, and DB Langdon Allen. Honestly, I feel like every single one of our kids at least deserved honorable mention. Maybe we played some teams that are a little smaller than us, but they dominated every single week. And I feel bad that those guys did not get the recognition that they deserved. So Jack's name might be up there, but this isn't a team accomplishment here. These passing records, the numbers are pretty amazing because you got to take into account that his sophomore season he only got 6 games because of the COVID year. So in the passing yards in this season, he passed Phil Bradley. It was 1,789. It is now 2,192 passing yards in the season. In a career, it's now 4,688. He beat that by over 1,600 yards. Passing touchdowns in the season, he beat his record from last year. It is now 29 passing touchdowns in the season. And in his career, Phil Bradley had the passing record at 25. He passed it with 64 passing touchdowns. So those numbers are pretty outstanding. Receiving records. We are blessed with a lot of very good receivers. It is impossible to guard all of our receivers. JT and Langdon did an outstanding job. For receiving yards in the season, JT beat that. That number should be over 1,000, but unfortunately, a couple sprained ankles held him back a little bit. But 965 yards beat the record from 1976. Receiving yards in a career, JT and Langdon both beat that. JT's at 1843 with another year, and Langdon 1791. Receiving touchdowns in a career, JT passed it, was 18. It's now 34 and counting. He's got a chance to beat the total touchdown record next year if we stay healthy. So we have some awards here. These were voted on by both the players and the coaches. We had a lot of great candidates, offensively and defensively. Our line probably gets a little hosed with our categories. We probably need to add a line award here. But this year, the offensive MVP is Jack Duncan. Like we said, he beat their school record for passing yards in the season. His completion percentage up until the wind game was over 70%, which is really impressive. He had 29 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions, and he also added a couple QB sneaks there, one to put Q&D away. So congrats, Jack, on offensive MVP. Defensive MVP, again, this could go to a bunch of guys. We had, I think, 7 different people get votes from players, and it was really close. But Ethan Ladd, kind of the heart and soul of our defense there, the guy that's in the middle there. 2 interceptions. Maybe we don't fall down there, we score, but I guess that's why we play center. 5 forced fumbles. Again, some of these numbers aren't 100% up to date. I only did the tackles through 9 weeks, so I didn't put those in there. 2 fumble recoveries and a sack. We moved him from defensive end. Otherwise, he would probably have a few more sacks than that. But moving them inside, it was really difficult for them to run away from him like they did last year. Our next award is Most Improved. This kid played soccer, I believe, his freshman and sophomore year. Got to come out his junior year. In our JV schedule, we kind of let some juniors play down a little bit, and he took full advantage of that. Played probably every snap at the JV level last year, and we relied heavily on him. We lost a couple linemen from last year, and this kid stepped right in. Brandon Sprinkle stepped right in. And really dominated at his position. He's a great kid to have. We're going to be looking for that next kid to step in that we don't really expect. So Brandon did a great job for us. The next award for us is Mr. Hustle. It's Mr. Hustle, but we kind of changed it a little bit. It is a award, kind of 12-month award. So this kid busted his butt in the weight room all year in other sports, kind of changed his body so that he can endure 9 weeks, 11 weeks of football. Pound for pound, probably one of the strongest kids, fastest kids on the football team. Jaden Jones is our Mr. Hustle this year. He probably had two of the most outstanding runs this year. The week one, I think it was our second touchdown. He got a little jet play, and he broke 5 tackles, stiff-armed a kid to the ground. I had some great pictures. Andrew took some awesome pictures. I had that one up there first, and I came across this picture. And if you guys were at the game against Q&D, we fell a little bit behind, 14-12. JT goes out. We catch a slant. This kid has him wrapped up. He throws one kid off of him, pushes another kid to the ground, and then breaks away for the go-ahead touchdown. And from that point forward, we took care of business. So we're looking forward to another year with him. The next 2 awards are leadership awards. These guys have left their mark on our program. They're 2 guys that are there every single day. They're in the weight room every single day, probably multiple times during the day. They're vocal leaders. They are leaders by example. We're really going to miss them having them around to kind of get us going when maybe we're having a bad practice or a bad group segment. But this year's Mike Kesla and Mitch John Ward winners are Max Reiner and Lindsey May. And then, since I was told 7 minutes, so JV awards here. We just got them kind of quick here. I put them all on one slide. Our offensive MVP, Drew Watson. If you guys again watched our games, stepped up huge for us. For a freshman to step up and perform with these guys is pretty amazing. He had some huge catches against Q&D. He had what at the moment was a game-saving deflection or go-ahead touchdown deflection against Murfreesboro. Unfortunately, they scored a couple plays later, but at the moment, it seemed like it was going to be a huge play in that game, and it was. But JV-wise, he dominated most JV games. He probably won't be playing much JV next year because he'll be doing that on the varsity level. Defensive MVP, another kid that he doesn't get a lot of JV reps in practice because he is our guy that we want to get a look on for offense or for varsity. So he kind of did what we told him to do for scout team, and he performed really well on Monday nights, and that's Jeffrey Lee. Most improved, one of the best hands on the team, Jack Beal, playing receiver for us. He made some outstanding catches throughout the year. He's just going to continue to get better. He might not be the fastest kid on our team, but his hands are really good. And if you can catch the ball, then you can make plays. And Jack Beal is going to have a bright future for us going forward. Mr. Hustle, kind of like we said with Jaden, Kyler Ames. He is always there in the summer lifting. Again, we have some great candidates on the JV level. Our JV kids did a really good job of lifting this summer, and we're going to need that going forward. But Kyler's there lifting every day in the summer. He's there every day when we had volunteer opportunities, and he's always there when we need somebody to jump in. whether it's scout team. If we say we need someone on kickoff, probably not going to put you in there, but he's going to try. So we're really excited about Kyler as well. We're excited about all of our guys. We lose a great group of 15 seniors, but we're excited with the guys coming back as well. So they kind of set the standard for us. 10 wins, making the playoffs these last 2 years. We don't want to take a step back from here. So our guys are going to have to bust it in the weight room in the off season, whether it's basketball, wrestling, swimming, track, tennis, baseball in the spring. We want those guys competing so that next fall we're ready to go. So again, thank you guys for all the support, and thank you guys for the fun 3-6 months we've had the last time. It sucked not going to practice on Monday, but we'll all be there. All right, thank you guys. You want me to read these out? We'll pass these out after. Okay, so don't leave. Hey, don't leave. We'll pass out your numbers and stuff back here.
Okay, I get a talk.
He said don't leave.
Yeah. All right, folks, thank you so much. We made it in under 2 hours, and thank you all for hanging around. If you're not doing anything, Kennedy Adair is headed up to Sports Corner to do the TSSR Sports Live this week with Dwayne Hulett. Thank you all. Have a safe trip home.